back at Streetscapes here, and I'm sitting here with Chantal, Rudi and Thomas. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having us again. So today we're going to speak a bit more about how the whole program started and what you guys have reached so far and what your plans are for the future. Who wants to start introducing themselves?
My name is Rudi. I've been with Streetscapes since we've started.
When did you start?
We're kind of running 8 years now. So if you're able to do the maths, it's like count 8 years backwards. 2016, yeah. What happened was there was this group of people, like homeless people, vagrants, or whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. There's been a problem in the city with homeless people are kind of doing petty crime, and then they ended up in the what we call the community courts. So Streetscapes is part of a bigger organization called Colisa Social Solutions. Colisa is community courts assistance that helps people with petty crimes, and especially homeless people, through the justice system, you know. But what they've realized is that there was a lot of petty crimes by like homeless people, vagrants, you want to call it, coming through the system, and this obviously was a need for us to like look at how or what we're going to do about it. This garden here was a hotspot because some of us used to live here. We used to like sleep here and that kind of thing. We started this garden from scratch, from nothing, so there was nothing here. We found out that people were doing these petty crimes because of there was a need for maybe some kind of constructive thing to do, and then get some money as well, you know. So there was that need. When we started it, we kind of used it to employ people, keep people busy, but also to give some kind of dignity back to the homeless person. Yeah, it helped for me. I've been homeless for 15 years. 15 years? 15 years, it was so long, eh? Then I joined the program. The guys here at Streetscapes were able to kind of, I think, empathize. They basically assisted us right through that journey, getting IDs, getting some kind of accommodation, and then providing us with psychosocial support. From walking the streets, trying to find whatever you needed to find, you then found yourself busy doing constructive things. You found yourself moving into a shelter. At the time it was a shelter. At the moment we've got our own housing. But we moved into shelters. We kind of struggled to stay in housing because it takes a while for people that has been homeless or that slept rough, if I can put it like that, to get used to the indoors. It psychologically it does something to you, and when you're back indoors, you know, you struggle to get used to it. So it took a couple of years for me to actually get to the point where I am like fully kind of can sleep in a house every night, that kind of thing. So we kind of learned that in order for us to be able to assist people, we need to find them decent shelter, constructive thing to do, and then obviously money as well as psychosocial support. And then it's also a space where people can like start dreaming again, start living a life after homelessness, because there definitely is a life after homelessness. And that's kind of in a nutshell what the program is about. So it's about employment, it's about psychosocial support, but most importantly it's about providing a dignified home or space for people to live in.
What did you learn from you going into a shelter and not like feeling uncomfortable there at the beginning? What did you change, and why did you feel uncomfortable in the first place? Because from an outside perspective you would think that's the big dream of a homeless person, to finally be indoor again, and then when you finally got that, you actually felt a bit uncomfortable.
Nice question. So I actually realized that you know, in order for you to be able to use the comfort and all that kind of stuff that a home gives, that the space needs to actually embody what a home actually really is supposed to do, and that is to provide safety for you to be able to rest, to start dreaming again, to work on goals, to work on your development, but very importantly to work on past trauma. Unfortunately our shelter systems at that time did not provide that for me. At the time I couldn't work on my past traumas. I thought myself, okay, if I'm inside, okay, things will get better. It didn't get better. In fact, it got worse. And that's what I've learned in life as well. Things normally get
worse.
Sorry?
Why did it get worse?
I think I started in trying to cope with all these changes that's happening, and trying to cope with a lot of other stuff. I went to what I know best how to cope, and that's with drugs. So my substance use just increased, you know. And because of that, I think I kind of then just decided to go back to what I know, and that was the streets, you know. My substance use increased, but there wasn't at the time there wasn't the necessary psychosocial support. We need to provide that kind of service as well. We need to have psychosocial support. We need to have a real different kind of settings for different people, because not everybody is used to the normal shelter system that we are busy with. So therefore, it is important to have a diverse approach to being able to accommodate people from the streets, I think.
So at the beginning you already said you explain people how to budget, how to not waste the money or the salary that they make when they work here. That sounds like a pretty tough thing to do. If people are addicted to drugs, they get money and they could afford so many drugs. How do you make them not spend it on drugs?
So when people come onto our program, we set goals for them. Or no, we don't set goals. We set goals with them. We also kind of not teach people, but journey with people, so that they can also realize that the coping mechanism that they are using, or that a lot of times we all use certain coping mechanism to deal with the stresses of life, and not all coping mechanisms actually serves the purpose or serves us, you know. So we journey with people. We have enough. I wouldn't say enough, but we have support programs. We have awareness programs. We also have what we call opioid substitute therapy, where we are able to use what we call a harm reduction approach with our clients. So in other words, especially our clients that are on opioid addictions, it's extremely difficult to just stop smoking and then just like carry on as if nothing happened, because in actual fact we started smoking because something has happened. Something along the line went wrong. So what we do is we kind of have ways to expose people to better coping mechanisms. And once we started to see that people are able to better cope with their traumas, which we help them with through our social workers, our counselors, our outside therapists, outside treatment centers, inside treatment centers. So there are different approaches for different people. But once we've stabilized that, where people are able to actually live life at life's terms, and able to cope with life, we then kind of, you know, work out budgets and that kind of thing. So once that is in place, we kind of know that, okay, now you're not going to just spend all your money on substance, because there's a plan. You started dreaming again. You started putting goals again. There's certain things that you want to work towards, and so we basically have a saving system where people are able to save on their pace. And yeah, what we've noticed is people started using less, because they have less time to use.
So you think often it's also just a reaction to boredom?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
6 hours that they're at work, they're not using. They're already reducing on the harm causing to themselves.
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
My story and Rudi's story are totally different. So I lived in the mountain, on the foot of the mountain in Van Riebeeck Park. And one Saturday, JC and Joanne is the lady that stays in Friedhoek, came with coffee, biscuits, and told us about the program and told me I must come in Monday and there might be an opportunity for me. And I started working as one of Streetscapes' clients. I was still using. I was on the street 5 years already by that time. So then I was working for that year, and then 2020 happened, and then COVID happened, and then we all went to Strandfontein, Rudi.
What does it mean that you went to Strandfontein?
Strandfontein is when it's like a camp that they put up there for the lockdown, for people living on the streets, because we couldn't go anywhere. So we had a lot of tents there. So Jesse came to fetch us, and then we went for COVID test, and then I had COVID. And for a week, I went to the Lagoon Beach Hotel. So with that, in that week, I decided I'm gonna stop drugs, and I haven't touched drugs ever since. So my
How did
journey,
that happen?
it just stopped because I saw people dying there. I saw the morgue van and everything. But you can't see them, but you just see every time when somebody dies, and there's like a coroner's van outside, and then I said, God, if I survive this, because we didn't know what COVID was that time. I'm gonna try to better. I'm gonna stop drugs, and which I did. I fell in love. I got married. I'm back with my kids. We did the peer support specialist training. I'm studying social work, so I'm starting next month. So I was one of Streetscapes ex-clients, but I'm staff now. I'm back with my children, like I said. I'm married, and things have just been going. It's not so good, you know. Marriage is not like sunshine and roses every day, but okay, we make the best of it.
But that's life.
Yeah, that's
It's
life.
never perfect.
But the children, it's never been better. I have 6 children.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
I was very busy.
All the cold winters.
The youngest is 10. My one son is a boss model.
So in what way did Streetscapes help you to get off the street? Because you saw people that were actually suffering
Yeah.
from corona and
Yeah.
then it clicked. So how did Streetscapes actually guide you there?
Psychosocial support, the social workers, helping me to get in touch with my family, sit with me, listen to my problems, listen to my goals. I set goals for me. Like Rudi said, Zoli used to be my supervisor. Zoli, that's Babawa, and then Zoli, she's working that side. So she set goals for me, and in 6 months' time, I set that time for me. I want to do that. I want to go visit my kids. I want to try to make things right with my family. Because once you do drugs, you leave home, you leave your kids. So there's still that, you don't know if your mother's angry with you or what. But she wasn't even angry. She was just more worried.
Of course.
You understand? She
Yeah.
brought my kids once to me when I was living in the Park, and she said never again because why? Then the kids loved it because they think I have a tent outside. They think it's a camping thing. Mommy, I want to sleep here with my mom, but they couldn't. You understand? Because
No.
in their minds, like this is a camp. There's a park. There's doggies running around the Park and whatever. But yeah, a lot of psychosocial support, and it's also what you put in as a client, and the support you get from the staff, and that's what we're trying to give back. Because somebody would love the experience to go out there. People know us already, so they're gonna open up more to us than they open up to maybe somebody that they don't know at all. You understand?
Yeah. Do you think that might be the key to why your program is working so well? Because they
Yes.
can actually trust you
Yes.
because you've been through it
Yeah,
yourself.
and I think we also motivated a lot of them.
Yeah.
And even they come to us and tell a lot of the clients come to me and tell me like, Chantal, you really motivate me because I can see where you were. We used to smoke together, but look where you are now. I want to try to do that. Sometimes we don't succeed, but there's a lot of successful cases that we do get.
What would you say is your success rate?
What would you say?
It depends what
Depends what you're looking at.
What we're looking at. But if I were to measure success, then I would say that most of the people that comes onto our program that are homeless, about 80% of them actually move off the street
Yes.
within the first 3 months.
Wow.
And that is why for us it is important. For us, I think the peer approach is very important, because someone with lived experience would know exactly what
say.
the next person is going through. Not exactly, but you would have that
Can relate.
real empathy because you were there.
You were
You
there.
were sleeping on the
Yes.
cardboard. You know what it feels like to
Like,
sleep on the
yes.
cardboard. You know,
Yeah.
or to sleep in a garden or on a bench and being chased away by law enforcement agencies, security guards, and then the next morning those very same people expect you to then live a normal life. Like a normal person. It's absurd. Actually, you chase the people around the whole night, and then the next morning you expect them to function as a normal person. So what we've actually realized is that for us to be able to go out there and to actually really speak our story and actually really tell our story to those, they then what we've realized, they found hope in our stories, and they've come to these gates. And they've come through these gates, worked in these gardens, so within 2-3 months they want to move off the street. They found some dignity, they've connected with people, and I think that is also another thing. What we've done is we've isolated homeless people, or we've marginalized them to a point where they kind of lost connection with almost everything. Society, health services, all sorts of critical services that we as human beings all need. The richer you are, the more you are able to access that. And I'm not saying rich people don't need health services, but I think the homeless person or the marginalized person probably needs it more. So what happens a lot of times is that when they get to these services, they almost are shunned. So what we've realized in our peer approach is when we walk that journey with them, we are able to then make that services more accessible to them. And I think that is what makes our program a little bit different to others, because we've started the peer approach and it's helping. It's we've seen wonderful results from it, and I think that is kind of where we are at, is to make sure that people are able to just see that the peer approach actually really works.
Because we used to go look for the people, but now the people come to our gates to come ask, can I speak to a peer? For shelters and stuff like that, and it never used to happen. So it just shows that it does work.
Yeah. So the word has spread.
Yeah. So Thomas is Thomas is one of our peers.
Yeah, my name's Thomas. So my journey started with Streetscapes, I think, in 2022. I didn't fit the criteria of Streetscapes. Let me just remind someone, I didn't fit the
You were
criteria.
sitting on a bench outside and I told Rudi, no man, take this man, he's been sleeping there the whole time.
I've been outside those gates for like a month and a half, and finally Rudi decided to give me a chance. However, I found out about Streetscapes by people on the street and stuff. Always heard about Streetscapes and the opportunities that they give. I've stayed on the street for 3 years, had pretty much average middle class upbringing, but through substance abuse I ended up on the streets. My grandfather died in 2020 because of COVID, and in family politics I decided to go back to the streets. That's what I know, besides the fact that I was using. So that's how I ended up on the streets, and then came to Streetscapes. Still very much in active addiction, sure. And like Rudi says, he's been my supervisor since I've started here. But we set goals, so it's a year and 2 months now that I'm clean and sober, drug-free and alcohol-free. And I guess life kind of took off after that because of the housing first approach that Streetscapes has, in the sense that when you have a safe space to stay, you don't have to worry about the little possessions or valuables that you have that it's not going to be there when you get back from work, you're staying on the street. That kind of helped me and molded me into the person that I am today. I'm grateful to be sitting in the seat as a peer team leader. So I started off as a client, worked my way up to be an assistant supervisor in the Long Street cleaning team, and kind of just took off from there. Being in recovery helped a lot because one can think much clearer, and you kind of start to live again, like Rudi mentioned earlier. I'm also very grateful and happy that I'm starting to study next month. So
Nice.
from the streets to HIV counseling and management, and my end goal is to look at becoming a social worker, but because of a criminal record for possession of drugs, that's kind of hindering the application process to register as a student social worker. However, I think the way Streetscapes has helped me, they supported me on my journey in reaching my goals that I've set out for myself. Like even this morning, just interesting thing, I was so excited to go and pass out for my driver's license, to get my license. Test is only tomorrow, but I was this morning. I mean, that's how excited you get about living life, and you do normal things. I've kind of worked my way up from being in the homeless ecosystem to where I am now and still giving back and trying to add value. In my capacity as peer team leader, we basically go out and try and offer services to the homeless people that are staying on the street, those who might not necessarily have access to a health service, or they're afraid to go. So I would then basically go with that person and sit at the hospital and make sure they get everything. I have someone who I administer medication to on a daily basis, ARVs and TB medication, and that's just something that I do. If it's having to make IDs, last week I did that for someone. you go through the whole process. Homeless people are still marginalized and treated so indifferent to the normal public. And I experienced that firsthand at Home Affairs with my client last week. You know, where security spoke bad to them, not knowing that I was with them. And I was like, you cannot speak to people like this. So as a peer field worker, we kind of advocate for the rights of homeless people and also support them on that journey of change at their pace. So yeah, that's what I kind of do in a nutshell. And yeah, under the guidance of Mr. Passon, yeah, he's been journeying with me. I've given him many sleepless nights, trust me. Budgets were not handed in on time, but we're doing pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I can tell that you guys all needed help at the beginning, and now you're willing to give that back and actually help way more people. So do you feel like the program is spreading out more and more because there are just more people that can be here as peers?
That's actually what's happening. So since we started the peer project or the peer approach, we've noticed that we are able to reach a lot more people. A lot more people are open to come to us, to come to our program, and I think we've kind of we're able to journey with a lot of people through the ups. You know, we celebrate the ups, we celebrate the achievements and that kind of thing, but we also support them through the challenges, and that is, I think, what makes this program amazing, and that's why I'm still here.
And that's, I think that's a big difference. Like just the amount of passion that the peer support specialist put in. I'm just a peer, I'm not the legendary peer. They're legendary, but I mean, not yet. I'm aspiring, but I think even if I have to look back, yesterday was a public holiday, but I was with my supervisor and he goes the extra mile. I'm not saying the other supervisors don't, but he literally walks that journey with someone that is prepared to give up his own time, you know, and not charge the company or whatever. But I mean, if you're committed if you're committed to journeying with someone, it's not just during working hours. There were times that he used to get me at 10, 11 o'clock at night because I'm having a meltdown and whatever, and I'm high as a kite and I needed to speak to someone, and he'd get me, you know, despite the dangers that may come with that. But I mean, if you do this job, it's not the job. I think it's a passion, and you really have to be in it. It's not about the monetary reward that you get at the end of the month when we get paid, but about seeing the change that you actually implement in the various people's lives. And yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you know what? We journey with them. Because I know I was one of those people, and today looking back, was I like that? You know what I mean? But it gives me great joy to see someone actually, you know, do what they say they're going to do, or you're going to have to help, just give them a nudge in the right direction, because sometimes you don't get that at home or whatever, wherever you might be. And I think that's what makes Streetscapes different from everywhere else, because I've been to quite a few programs, trust me. I've been around. But Streetscapes, yeah, it's a very special place, and I think if you're in it for the people, change then comes from that. And like they say, the only thing that's constant is change. So yeah,
we already looked at the laundry cycle that you guys have, and you guys also obviously have the garden. So is this how you fully finance yourself, or how does the whole program work?
This doesn't even finance us.
No?
not even coffee.
Yeah, so our funding basically comes from a lot of different big, whether it's big organizations, whether it's big we get some funding from our local government as well. But obviously it's never enough for some strange reason, you know. It's never enough because there's like such a lot of people that need help, that we need to help, that we would like to help. And as I explained that initially when we started the garden, it wasn't to bring in income. It was more for us to keep people busy constructively for that period of time, in order for them to be able to start thinking again, to start feeling again, to start dreaming again, and that kind of thing. It wasn't about the money, because if we were going to put that pressure on us, on ourselves even, to start thinking about money and that kind of thing, we're not going to be able to deal with it with the past trauma. We probably traumatize ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you traumatize at the end of the month, but I am sometimes. So that's not where our
The car doesn't get
so that's not where our funding really comes from. So we'd love people to especially big organizations. If you've got a lot of money, please help us. Please help us do beautiful work. Journey with us and journey with other people, because that's basically what we're doing. We so much want to see see people and at a place where they are able to be independent, self-sufficient, all that kind of thing. But it's more importantly that journey that you go through with them that is important for us. And I think it's that journey that sometimes takes a lot of money as well, because it goes back and forth. It's not like you here now and next month you here. If it was like that, believe me. So because that journey takes, and there's a lot of different aspects to that journey for different people. Not everybody is going to take the same amount of resources, and that is why it's important for us to be able to reach out to people. People can reach out to us and just like check where they'd be able to help us, help other people, because that's actually what it's about. So you mentioned the gardens. No, the gardens doesn't really make us that kind of money. So we've got the gardens. We've got cleaning sites. So we clean the city streets, the streets that we used to walk in. We clean them now. Our local council has been very very helpful in supporting us, because they've seen the amount of change that we were able to bring about in our city. Cape Town is a beautiful city, and we'd like to keep it that beautiful, with homelessness. We'd be able, if we'd be able to find a better way to solve that problem, which is not a Cape Town problem, it's not a South African problem, it's a world problem. Everywhere there's homeless people. So somewhere we need to find a way to keep our cities beautiful, to keep our communities beautiful, and to be able to find dignity, a dignified way to help the homeless person, or those that are marginalized. So the city has been very helpful with us. They've supported us. They've supported a lot of our projects. We've got 3 different housing sites. In Kales River, we've got a urban farm, which is much bigger than this farm, and we'd like to use that as to actually kind of use that as a way to bring in a little bit more money, for us. So if there's people that's good in urban farming and that's got all this marketing skills and that kind of thing, they can come on board and just like help us make this millions.
Yes.
But essentially it's about our people's journey, how they are able to deal with their past trauma, how they're able to heal, and how they're able to then reintegrate or become productive members of society. That takes money, and we need help. We need resources, different kinds of resources. So it's the gardens that we've got, the cleaning sites that we've got, and also we've got the peer project, the peer approach. So we've got a group of peers that actually goes out and assists homeless people with IDs, trying to navigate the justice system, helping them in courts. Also got them, helping them with medication, accessing health services. Also then trying to exit the homeless environment, trying to get them back maybe maybe find a room, that kind of thing. So if you've been marginalized, or if you've been isolated for so long, it's very difficult to then navigate a system that has pushed you aside.
So what would you say to someone, let's say someone is watching the video that either has a drug problem or is on the streets, what would you say to motivate to actually take that step to try to get away from it? Because you might be so in your routine and scared of whatever might come in the past, of being scared of being clean, being scared of integrating back to society in that sense. What would you say?
I for one would say, don't be afraid of the change, because that I was afraid of change, and that's what held me back. And if I'd accepted the change quicker, I would probably have been further. So accept the change, embrace it. It's scary, but it's a journey that's worth it. That's what I would say. I accept the change and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, from my experience, I would say that ask for help and when the opportunity presents itself, grab it and keep on to it, you know. It's not an easy journey, but the harder, I realized that the harder I worked on my journey, the more people were able to support me on that journey, and that is where I am at now, supporting others on their journey.
I just want to tell them there is hope out there, because if I could do it, they could do it. I know people give up on you when you're a drug addict or when they see you sitting there on the corner smoking a pipe or whatever. People give up on you, but there is hope out there. There is places that can assist. There is, come to Streetscapes and come ask to see a peer, come ask for assistance. If we can't help at that moment, we'll send you to the necessary places that can. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
There's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way.
There's always a way. There's always a way.
Look at the three of us. We made it. So, yeah.
So we've got a website. It is Streetscapes.
Something.
Streetscapes.org, I think.
Yeah, streetscapes.org, is it? Yeah.
And we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, but reach out to us and we'd be able to guide you through the process. How you'd be able to like either donate or how you'd be able to donate your time, your money, other resources. Yeah, and that would make us happy if there are more people that are happy.
If you guys want, I have a backabuddy that I still have going for my SAW studies, which is social auxiliary. But I can forward you guys the details and you can just post the link. I'd appreciate it.